Welcome to the Season Podcast.
Welcome to the Scene Snobs Podcast. I'm your host, Mick Manhattan, and joining me tonight is the man producer, Paul. What's up, buddy?
I'm so glad I'm better, and I'm here this week because last week sucked.
Yeah, man, you're sick last week, and listen. I had no idea what else to do because you like told me an hour and a half before you're like, I'm going to rally. I'm like, well, I don't want to rally. You're sick, so I'm like, but it's the Paul appreciation episode where you picked everything. And I'm like, we got to do a redo on this soon because this really took a turn.
yeah, it was. I don't know. I might start wearing masks every time I fly now because I assume I caught something on the plane back and it just gave me the flu real bad for like 2.5 days or 3 days. And
it's going to happen, bro. Because on planes, man, they don't care. They're recycling that air. So you're just like catching everybody's stuff, you know?
Yeah. Tasting every fart in those things, man.
Oh my God. You got to bring your own oxygen mask, man. You like not get sick. Just be like, screw you, COVID heads.
Yep.
Just a flight risk everywhere I go. Hey, what's up, Derpy? How you doing? Thanks for watching. And Amanda, thank you for joining in. Appreciate you. Oh man. Oh, so I had a really fun Saturday. Ooh. And I'm gonna tell you about
it. I'm excited.
I was, because when people are sick, especially like when you told me you were sick, I was like, I think about like, what would he watch right now? What can I recommend for him? I left you alone because you were sick and I was gonna mess with you, but I was like, what can I recommend for him that would be cool? And like that one night when I was watching Pluto and it was like The Thing and it was something else, I was just like, this is like his heaven. He should just be up all night watching this. I was like, I hope he is. No, it's just so like Saturday I got to have a little movie marathon and I was very stoked for it. I was going to be on Popcorn and Pints that night and we covered the movie Nighthawks from 1980 with Sylvester Stallone and Billy D. Williams and Rutger Hauer as an awesome villain. And the second movie that we talked about was Red Heat with Schwarzenegger.
Ooh.
So I was really excited for it. So I started with Nighthawks in the morning. I like Nighthawks a lot. I think it's a really good buddy cop film before buddy cops became more comedic. There's like no real comedy in it at all, but but it is a very much a buddy cop formula type of movie. So I do think people should check it out. So I watched that. And I was like, oh, screw it. You know what? I started a movie the other day. I only made like 15 minutes in. I was like, I want to watch it. And it's Mel Gibson, 50 Cent, and who else is in it? I think there's other couple. The youngest daughter from 10 Things I Hate About You is in it. She plays a detective. There's another guy in it who plays a cop and everything. Okay, it's called it's called Boneyard, right? It's based on the West Mesa murders, which I guess was murders. Like women were getting murdered, and I'm not laughing about that, but I'm like, and they found like this yard of bones, but I'm like, why can't I figure out what the word means? But I only talk for a living. So I'm watching this movie. Mel Gibson's in it, and he plays a profiler who's going to help this small, or not small, it's Albuquerque Police Department with the chief of police, played by 50 Cent. And like, I can't remember what shows he was from. I think he was from John from Cincinnati, but I cannot remember. And nobody else remembers that show, so I don't like. Nobody was watching HBO at that time when John from Cincinnati came out in like 2006. So with that, like, so I'm watching the movie and it's just a wild ride, right? Because I didn't know what to expect. And the whole movie takes you in all these different like points of view and then pays off on nothing. Like it says, we got him, gives you the full payoff. Everything's going. Then they're like, gotta let him go. What? And they're just like, found more bodies. And then it just comes up with the scroll and it's just like, the West Mesa murders were never solved.
Beautiful.
So I watched that. I say give it a chance, whatever, see what people think about it. But it was pretty bonkers to me.
Hell yeah.
But I always enjoy Mel Gibson, so I don't care. And then I watched Red Heat, the Schwarzenegger movie. And I was very overjoyed to figure out I love Walter Hill. I love Walter Hill movies. Streets of Fire is one of my favorite movies. The Warriors is one of my top 10 movies of all time. Walter Hill, another 48 hours and another 48 hours. Just really great director. And he does action so well. And I never knew that Red Heat was one of his. I saw it in the 80s, man. And then that wasn't one of my go-tos, because it is a darker movie. But watching it at 42, I had so much fun with it. It's wild. It's different. But it was cool to watch. So then I continued my journey. I was like, I'm going to continue this journey. What else did I watch? I watched, God, I'm losing track of what I watched because I got so into talking about those movies again. What else? I watched a couple other movies. I watched Cruising, which is a wild movie. It's Al Pacino's in it. It's a William Friedkin movie. Really well done. Really well done. It's just a really wild movie. So it's about somebody going around killing gay men in New York City. So Al Pacino is a cop who goes undercover in the world and trying to catch this killer. So it's very wild. It's from 1980, I think. So I watched that. And then I put on Turner Classic Movies, which is my roundabout way of getting into my first topic tonight. The long way around, but I turn on Turner Classic Movies and Doubt is on. And oddly enough, we're not getting into that topic. I promise you, we're not getting into that topic. But I was watching Doubt, and I had only seen it the once when it first came out. So I was watching it again, and I was more technically watching it. Right. Like watching the acting and watching Philip Seymour Hoffman and Meryl Streep just sparring against each other. It's so well done. So I really like the movie. And then right after is Kramer versus Kramer, which if you know what Doubt's about and you know how much of a drama Doubt is, then and I hope you know what Kramer versus Kramer is about. And so I watched that. And again, like it gave me, I watched it from more of a technical side because I would have bawled my eyes out the whole time watching that movie. But it was just a really fun time to do it. But bringing me to my point. Okay, I realize I bored everybody with my very long monologue, but to bring me to my point, what they did on Turner Classic Movies, because my favorite thing to do on that channel, and the reason I bring it up, is watch like the information in the middle. I love that so much. That's what I do. I love that. Like I realize now that's the dream. Like I love filmmaking. I love doing it. But I want to talk about movies. I want to talk about all this information I know and stuff like that. And I love it. So watching this, I was so happy again, hearing them talk about the movies and what was going on. And then they play this commercial where all of the hosts are talking about trigger warnings, for movies and how they're going to present it. And like, some channels are presenting like title cards that are just saying, hey, this movie has some things. The way they're presenting on Turner Classic Movies is they're going to talk about those things. They're not going to shield it. They're not going to hide it. They're not taking it out, but they're going to actually have conversation about it. And why it was trigger warning and why at that time what this meant, why you're not going to take this out of Gone with the Wind because you're diminishing this amazing performance over here. And it's just a really, when I heard that, I was like, this right here is perfect. I was like, if you're going to do trigger warnings, that's what I want. Give me the information, have the conversation. So I wanted to pose the question to you. How do you feel about this new rise of trigger warnings?
I think it's very important because I think it's hard because certain climates weren't quite as important as they are now. I'm not saying they shouldn't have been. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to diminish anyone's feelings about certain movies or any certain things. But like you said, I think it does take away from movies sometimes if you just cut out certain things because of climate change as far as a society. So I think it's smart. I think that's the best way to go about doing it, not cutting it out, still having the warnings there, but being able to talk about it and be like, this is exactly why it was still in the movie. So I like it. I think it's a good way for the people that love just movies to still enjoy the movies. And then people that might be a first time watch don't just dismiss a movie because of X, Y, or Z being in there and them not feeling comfortable seeing that or having it. And I think it might even, to an extent, it might be a little therapeutic for someone, because I think a lot of times with certain triggers, talking about and being able to have a discussion about it might actually help them get through their trigger a little better.
That's a great point. I never thought about it that way. So I like what you're saying. And for me, it was the same as, I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Like, and I do understand, like, there's people are different. Like, that stuff doesn't bother me. Like, when I watch something, especially historical things like that, I can be heartbroken, I can be sad, I can be emotional about it, but I'm not triggered by it. You know, and I'm not just talking about American history. I'm talking about other things, and like the stuff that has affected my family, you know, that I see in movies. I'm, you know, my ancestors and stuff. So for me, it doesn't bother me, but I do completely understand how it could bother others. And you know, women who are victims of assault, you know, sexual assault and things like that. Like, you should definitely 100% throw it up there.
Right.
But that's why I like what Turner Classic Movies is doing. That's what, like, I wish, and I might, I don't know if I can trigger warnings on a YouTube page. Like, most of my stuff is already very descriptive about it and stuff. And I don't really show anything on there. But like, trigger warnings, like that, maybe even title cards that, like, before it starts, it's like, hey, listen, you know, this is a different time, blah, blah, blah. And at this time, this is why it was like this, you know, just giving more information. Like, I don't know how that's not going to be interesting, because I even know people who aren't into movies like we are. You know, not that they don't love movies, they're just not into it like us.
Right.
So, but they still love hearing movie trivia.
Oh, yes.
Right? Like, it's still interesting and stuff like that. So, you know, that I think would be a great way to sidestep it. Like, most people are outraged by it when they read it as a headline in an article. Yeah, they don't care otherwise. Who cares? But I was just so, like, enamored by, like, how they presented that. And then they talked about, because then when you get into Kramer versus Kramer, hey, this might be triggering for something, like, you know, this is a man, you know, and talking about it in that way. And I actually kind of appreciated that, as like talking about it from the man's point of view, and like how that could be triggering for men who have been through this, you know. So I always dug that. And I don't know. I know I'm kind of like waxing on about it, but I do love that information. I wish there was ways to kind of get it more. Yeah. So for sure. But I know there's a way to get a lot of information by mashing it together. That's right, everybody. We're going to talk our mashups. So I thought it'd be fun, because I'm hearing a lot of humdrum. We see a lot of things mashing up now as it is, you know. Sometimes the same IP, but like, then we just saw Deadpool and Wolverine, and that had callbacks to everything. And that's, you know, even called to Furiosa at one point, you know. You know, fun. You know, I'm hearing like the new Transformers movies might team up with the G.I. Joe down the line. They've already hinted at it in the last one. I want to talk about movies that we thought would be, or franchises that we thought would be cool, that we can mash up together. And how would that work? Before we get started, I want to say we love you too, Bryant. We'd love you too. I look over at my Godzillas and I just think of you, buddy. And then Jason's here. What's up, guys? How you doing? How you doing, buddy? So yeah. What do you think of this? Do you think movies should be mashed up?
As a fan of so many different movies, you know, nothing would bring more joy to my life than being able to mash up some of my favorite movies or certain wheelhouses you could see existing in the same universe. So I would love it. Now, would it actually be a decent movie? I don't know for anyone except for me. I know I'd love it, but, you know, general audience or anything like that, I don't know half my mashups, a majority of society would be like, "This is a great movie," as opposed to me probably geeking out, being like, "Holy shit, this is awesome."
You never know until you try. What you got for me?
All right, we'll start with number 1, which is going to be, I want to see a mashup of Pacific Rim and Godzilla.
Ooh, oh my God, man. Yeah, they'll never do it, but I do wish they
Right.
would. I do agree. Yeah, it sucks that they'll never do it.
Yeah.
But that would be cool because that first Pacific Rim was just so awesome.
Yeah.
And you know how I feel about Godzilla. So
Yeah.
so like, Godzilla would have to win now. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
And that's humanity losing.
Well, you see, I also thought of it as like maybe the Kaji, being together with Godzilla. Like they help him fight the other Titans. So it's like Godzilla still with us, and then I don't know.
No, I mean, listen, there's a base for it. Like you can get Jet Jaguar. He was one. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So like you could do that. And I'm just thinking about the new movies. And they've already went outlandish with it in this last one.
Yeah.
So get Jet Jaguar in there, man. Like, why not? Let's have some fun. You know what? I think it's time. Ultron. Was not Ultron. What's his name? I can't think of it. He's on Netflix now. The other huge Japanese robot superhero, not Astro Boy.
I was about to say, I was like, Astro?
I can't think of the names. If somebody's in the comments, throw it out to me. If somebody's listening, make sure you comment. Thank you. But yeah, okay. So I like that. That's a good mashup. I don't have a list. I have ideas.
Okay.
You're Mr. List. I tell you, I'm like, hey, think about this topic. And you're like, I'm going to write down everything in list format. It's going to be numbered. They're like small bullets with notes on them.
Damn.
And so you're going to take it, son of a.
You already know. That's so sad.
Well, so I, you know what I was thinking? I thought you might enjoy this one. Everyone's always talking about Ash versus Jason versus Freddy, which would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we missed an opportunity to relive an important piece of history. And that is taking Tucker and Dale, much like Abbott and Costello back in the day, and making them meet different monsters all over the place.
That'd be cool.
I think that would be, and you could still do it. I bet you Alan Tudyk would do it. I bet you Tyler Labine would do it. I hope. I haven't seen what he's been doing lately. I like him though. His acting. I like them at Reaper.
Yeah. Reaper was a fun one.
So I feel like, because like, who else? We're never going to get that Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein again. That the gloriousness. To me, that's the best one.
Mm-hmm.
They're all great. I have fun with all of them, but that's the best one. That's the pinnacle, in my opinion. So thinking about it, it's, I don't know. Like, I feel like you don't have many others that could. We're always talking about teaming up. Teaming up the villains in some way, but we never have like a hero. Like we're always like, oh, bring Nancy back, do this, do that. I feel like if you just made it horror comedy and throw Tucker and Dale in, dude, Tucker and Dale in Haddonfield, Michael Myers is murdering people and they're chasing Tucker and Dale.
That'd be hilarious.
Now, 20 years ago, Jay and Silent Bob could have pulled that off.
Yes.
Now, not so much. They can't do that. Although this Tucker and Dale meets movies would be awesome if they were done by Kevin Smith, because I feel like he would take the monsters they give him and do them justice.
I think he would. It'd be strange to be a Kevin Smith twist, but I like Kevin Smith and I like his take on things. He's an odd one.
Yeah, he's one I was very surprised in, like when you see a lot of these world building and they're hiring directors, like how nobody goes to him and says, hey, you did build a universe. Hell, you'd not just built a universe, you built a multiverse where God exists and everyone exists in it. And you did it cohesively, Not, sometimes on purpose, sometimes not. You just connected the dots down the line. But how nobody could see, like, he's smart enough, and not just smart enough as a filmmaker to do that and to write it out, but he also knows endless knowledge of comic books.
Yeah.
Like, how is nobody, and I'm not even talking about the big dogs, I'm talking about even the ones who own, like, the rights to, like, the indies. Like, how do you not call him up? Be like, can you build a universe for us?
Right.
He would kill at it. That'd be awesome.
And I'm sure he'd love to do it too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Three Geeks has already got the hashtag up. Hashtag Tucker and Dale meet Jason. Tucker and Dale
like
meet
it.
Jason. Tucker and Dale meet Freddie. Oh my God, you can have Tucker and Dale go to a sleep science center to, and they nominate themselves to, like, be put into, like, small comas or whatever to, like, test this drug. And Freddie gets to him because it's in Springfield, Ohio. And now the whole movie is them trying to survive with the other teenagers in Ohio. I wrote this shit. Get it done, Hollywood. And then call Mick Manhattan. And Paul's got to come too.
Yes.
Got to get back to work later, guys. Thank you, Amanda, for watching. Check us out later. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up. And Three Geeks. How do you get Tucker and Dale to Jason? Easy. That's like the easiest one.
Right.
They can afford a cabin to just like camp and go fishing, and it's Crystal Lake. That's it. You don't need, like, why did Abbott and Costello meet every freaking monster? Who gave a shit? They were just there.
Yeah.
Like, they're just there. We deal with it. We will allow it. Like, I feel like movies today think the audience, not the filmmakers. I'm talking about, like, the high ups. I'm talking about the executive. I think they think the audience is too stupid to understand movies. Yeah. Or subtext in any way, shape, or form. There's not a whole lot of it anymore. Long legs.
God damn it.
Oh my God. There's so many of them. That's just like, this year's been tough. This has been a tough year for movies. I know I'm going off. What's your list? Tell me your list. I got more.
All right.
Now I'm on the Tucker and Dale. I'm writing movies.
So this one,
Tucker and Dale and Amityville.
That'd be dope.
You get hired to paint the house. Sorry, I'm gonna shut up.
This one sounds awful. So the pretext is this group of men using this little boy to kill people. It would be none other than Ghostbusters mixed with Sixth Sense. They just follow the kid the whole time and poach off every ghost that comes and bothers him.
That would be odd. Even to see him grown up now be a Ghostbuster.
He's like, "Oh, what happened to you?" Bing, like, just zap the shit out of him.
If Haley Jo Osment has not been going as a Ghostbuster for the past 25 years, what's the point? What's the point? I just don't know what's the point of life. If he's not a Ghostbuster on Halloween every single year, and that's not the goddamn funniest present. That's a present to me, I'll tell you that much. But the funniest just like costume ever, I don't know what would be. Like, I don't know what would top that, Paul. What do you think would top that?
I don't even know.
I cannot think of what in this world today. Now, I'm not saying in the past there couldn't have been things, but like what today would be that funny of a costume you can put together. Like there's, trust me, there's plenty, but like to have Haley Jo Osment in a Ghostbuster costume, somebody get his agent on the phone. That's all I'm saying.
They need to do that. Because you just sit there with a proton pack. Like, it'd just be such a fun film. They just watch him all the time.
Oh, it would be so much fun, dude. I'm in it to win it. All right, let's hear the rest of your mashups, because I know I'm going off the rails.
This one might be interesting to you. I thought it'd be fun. Clockwork Orange and the Warriors. Europe comes to America.
Oh, the Warriors fuck them up. They'd start that singing in the rain shit, and the Warriors would just pound them into the goddamn gutter. And then the rest of the gangs would come out and be like, you thought we were ridiculous? And I love that, man. I love Malcolm McDowell. I got to be his assistant once. That was the best. He is one of the nicest human beings. I never told you that? Oh shit. I don't want to brag about
cool
it.
Shit.
Show. That feels like, should I? I feels like I'm bragging. I don't want to.
I think that's awesome though.
I was a project coordinator on for Full Sail on the Florida Film Festival in 2000 and I think it was 8. I did 2007. I worked there, and then 2008 was I was project coordinator. Not like a big thing. It was just helping get things set up. Like it was like a small project coordinator in a big pool. So I don't want to make it feel like I was like vice president of like ExxonMobil. So, so if you can't tell by my many degrees on the wall that say the scene snobs. So we're what do you call it? I lost my word. I lost my train of thought. I lost my words. Like I know what I'm talking about, but I lost my word of what I was going to try and say. But so I'm working on that. The special guest for Anthony Bourdain was the keynote speaker, the opener. Wonderful guy, really nice guy. And then Malcolm McDowell was there, and he was going to be talking that year. So he needed an assistant while he was there. So they let me be his assistant because I like freaking loved him. And just an amazing human being overall, just kind of helped like with the signing and like, whenever he needed something, I'd run around. He had me running across, I swear to God, he was fucking with me, but he had me running across the street from where the signing was because it was a bar and they had the soccer game on. And like, well, they put the soccer game on because I asked them to because it was dead on a Saturday. And I'm like, listen, I got Malcolm McDowell over there. Like, who? And I'm like, Malcolm McDowell, you watch your tone. And then put the goddamn soccer on, you wanker. And then I ran back. And then I didn't do that. That was nice. And then they just politely did it. They're like, sure. And I was like, I'm going to keep running back and forth. And every time I did, they were actually really nice. She kept giving me water. So thank her for that.
Oh, that's cool.
So long story short, but no, he was just a really sweet guy, really cool. No major tidbits or anything like that, but just, very lovely dude.
That's good to hear.
So when I saw story time, so when I saw him treat his assistant so poorly in Halloween 2, and I went with Lenny, we were talking about that movie, and he's just like, was he really a dick like that? And I'm like, no. I was like, he was like one of the nicest human beings I've ever met. Yeah, so like that, so it was just such a weird juxtapose of how my experience went. So if anybody is wondering, he is a very nice guy. So
stamp of approval.
Oh man, you're gonna make me tell more celebrity stories, aren't you?
Hell yeah, probably. Let's go with I did The Conjuring, so the Warrens investigate the Blair Witch.
Interesting. I like that. I like that a lot. I almost want to take. Oh my God. I have another mashup idea based on this.
Okay.
Not the Warrens for me. Let's go back to Haley Joel.
Okay.
His character grew up and became like a Kolchak type. You remember Kolchak, the Night Stalker? He was like a reporter. He became like that type of reporter that like reports on the weird, maybe for a website or something like that. But because he knows they're there,
right?
Ooh. So he's a paranormal investigator, and like he can see the ghosts. Not a frightener situation,
right?
Not a frightener. Right. Like he's actually doing it, but play it up as like now he's got to go to the Blair Witch. Ooh, that'd be fun. So I was just piggybacking off of yours.
I like that. That'd be fun.
But I like yours too. Yours is a good one. That's interesting. All right. What else you got for me?
I got Little Monsters and Goosebumps.
That could be. That's the funny part. That could be.
It just speaks to my soul. I just think that'd be fun, with Jack Black, thinking he's writing stuff, but then Howie Mandel comes out from under the bed and it's like,
Oh, the new Goosebumps. I was just thinking of the TV
Yeah.
show. I was like, yeah, that could be a
No.
story on Goosebumps. Yeah, that'd be fun. That would be fun if that you found out that was like one he had written,
Yeah.
and that's why it comes to life. That'd be cool. I like that one. I like when they have fun ones like that.
And that's one of my go-to sick movies is Little Monsters. That just puts me in a good mood. And the end of the movie always makes me cry when he's telling Howie Mandel he loves him, and
That's one of
I
the
miss you. Fuck.
that's one of the most underrated action movies of all time.
It's a good one. The Boy, that actor is insane. Goddamn.
Which one?
The one that plays the boy.
Oh, was that Fred Savage's real little brother, Ben Savage?
No. The boy, like when they're in the monster universe under the bed, there's the
Oh,
villain,
that's
the boy.
right. Yeah.
But that was Fred Savage's little brother that played his actual little brother.
Okay, yeah. The future Corey Matthews.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I like those. You got any more?
Yeah. I have John Wick versus Nobody.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. That'd be really interesting.
Because I don't know which side I would choose. You know what I mean? Like, what if nobody was tasked to stop this man from taking out all his family since he's the cleanup guy? So are you rooting for John Wick or are you rooting for...
You know what would be cool too? Is mash him up with Fast and Furious. Oh God, he's gone.
Would it? I guess that'd be a decent plot for number 11.
Yeah, I it's just more so I want to see them and Statham go at it. I think this. Okay, fine. Let's kick out Fast and Furious. Transporter.
There we go.
John Wick and Nobody.
I love it.
Oh, can I tell you? All right. I just remembered a mashup that I put together in high school. I wrote this story out like to write it as a screenplay. Because whatever. That's what I did. I was a geek. Leave me alone. So it was Las Vegas is getting raided by a group of bad guys.
Okay.
And a mystical force led by David Lopan. And while they're in the casino he takes over as his thing, 3 people happen to be playing on the tables that day. And that is one Mr. Jack Burton, Mr. John McClane, and Mr. Ash Williams.
Hell yeah.
You can tie in like David Lopan gets the Necronomicon. Yeah, dude, I was in high
That'd
school.
be intense. I like that.
It's just like I had fun with it. And like I was talking about the mashups, I was like, that was such an interesting one for me. That I'm never pulling that notebook out. That's gone for good. The Warren one sounds interesting. It does. That would be pretty cool. I like that. Fun. Yeah. That's
I've been
good.
listening to their book at work, actually. Audible. What was it? The Demonologist. I've been listening to that while putting furniture away late at night.
That's
Lights
cool.
going out on me and shit. It's fun.
I hope it does. I hope the demon comes. No, I'm just kidding. I have something that could be interesting. What if we did it with Shaun from Shaun of the Dead?
Fuck yeah. That'd be
That'd be fun, man. I mean, he's so much older now, but like, I mean, he can get back in a tie. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you can totally throw that.
All right. Well, I think it's that time to move on to our next segment, which is 5 takeaways. Movie remakes. I had a fun one with this.
I did too. I forgot about a bunch. When you started saying some of yours, I was like, motherfucker, I forgot that was a remake.
I know. Some of yours too. Actually, one of yours inspired one of mine.
Oh.
So, and it's not the one you think. So let's get started with our number 5s, shall we? Oh, that's number 1. Don't want to start there. The one that got inspired by Mr. Paul at number 5, and his, of course. Paul's is Let Me In, the remake from Let the Right One In.
Yes.
And mine is The Mummy with Brendan Fraser from 1999, which is a remake from the Boris Karloff Mummy movie. So
yes, it is.
These are, I love this, and you were the one inspired because I forgot about The Mummy as a remake.
Yeah.
and even that has a remake, but that wouldn't go on my list.
No. Yeah. The Brendan Fraser Mummy is
top
notch.
That's your number 6.
Yeah.
Coincidentally enough. So tell me, why is Let Me In such a great adaptation of the original?
I like that this one's take was less of a horror and almost more of a love story to me. So as a horror fan, it had horror elements, which of course I love as a huge horror fan, but I thought they did a good job just almost making it seem like a friendship that's turning into kind of a love type thing. And I just thought it was beautifully done. I kind of liked a different take of the original that was mainly just kind of a girl that obsessed is a strong word, but enamored with the boy and just kind of kills off anyone that bothers him. And it was just kind of more of a straight horror to me than this one was.
I get that. They did add that element to it, and I like that. For me, why I chose The Mummy and why you reminded me of it, I went with a theme with mine. It was remakes that I feel improved upon significantly. I love Boris Karloff, and I respect The Mummy and the creation of it and the design and everything, but I don't love the story. It's kind of boring in my opinion. Okay. This is the best Mummy movie by far.
Right.
And it's like they blew it out of the water with this one. This set a precedent, in my opinion, of how Mummy movies should be. I think Tom Cruise and his action Mummy movie was on the right track with doing action, but just executed insanely poorly. Yeah. So like, you know, you got to do something like this. I really appreciated it. Yeah, no, that's why it's my number 5. So good deal. Let's see what number 4 is. So great choice, by the way. Great choice. That would have been on my list, but to me, Ocean's 11 didn't significantly improve upon the original. Ooh. It's just a great adaptation of the original. It's better. It surpasses, but I don't think it improved upon. I just think they took like a smaller story that was good and then just made it something even better. And I'd argue I like all 3 of those movies. The first one's far superior, but I like all 3 of them. But why did you choose Ocean's 11?
So I feel, even though I absolutely love the Rat Pack and I love Sinatra to pieces, I thought I really love this one. I thought the cast was tighter. I love the relationship between George Clooney and Brad Pitt. I just think they're a duo that I think is very underrated and not talked about enough in movies, because you put those two together, there's nothing in my mind, there's nothing they can't do as far as a heist or anything like that. I guess it's just because I grew up with this one. I probably, as opposed to the original Ocean's 11. So this one just kind of has a special place. You know, I remember watching this on our old corduroy couch on the, in the basement of my house with my parents that I grew up in.
Nice.
I remember the burnt popcorn. Anyway, so like it just has a special spot more than the Ocean's 11 of the Rat Pack. And I didn't know The Secret Life of Walter Mitty was a remake.
Yes, it was. There's I think it was in the 30s. It's not really the same thing. The guy is just sort of a dreamer.
Okay.
And it's based on a book too. So this one for me, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty by Ben Stiller, which came out, I think, in 2011. It was either 2010 or 2011, I believe. But it was just a truly fantastic film from beginning to end. Like imagery of every visual in it is just impactful. The music hits and every note properly with every cut. He made such a brilliant film that didn't do well, and it bugs me because it is truly like, if you have not seen this movie, go watch it. It is so wonderfully done and beautiful little story too. Yeah, that's why it's one of my top remakes of all time. Like it far surpasses all the original.
I think that movie would do well now, because I think the problem was then is I just don't remember exactly what was going on in the world then, but that movie is super inspiring to me. And I feel like that was a time where we weren't necessarily looking for inspiration. So I feel like right now with the climate of everything, I think if that came out right now, it'd be top box office across the board because everyone's looking for feeling better and being inspired to follow your dreams.
And I'll tell you, Gen Z, if anybody, and if any Gen Zers are watching this, I'm saying it, watch The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, the Ben Stiller version. I think they'll really like it. You know, I think the younger you get, you're right. Like, I have the argument with people all the time where they're like, oh, Gen Z doesn't care about anything. It's like, no, I think they care about themselves more than they care about what you want them to care about.
Right.
You know, so like that's been my big argument with a lot of it. So like with this movie, it even takes an older person doing the same thing and aspiring to it. So yeah, it is just a great movie. But all right, let's go on to number 3. You have a great pick with The Ring, and I chose Heat.
I didn't know Heat was a remake. This is crazy.
Heat is a remake of it. It was a TV movie written by Michael Mann, who also wrote Heat and directed it, called LA Takedown. And it was the same premise. And he loved the story and he wanted to rewrite it. You know, I think originally LA Takedown was written as an episode of Miami Vice.
Okay. And
then he liked the story, so he expanded it, and then he got the chance to make it into a TV show, and they did not do it justice. It wasn't bad. I mean, it's not good, but it wasn't bad. It's a TV movie, but he got a chance to do it again, and I just think like he knocked it out of the water with that one. I just think it's one of the pinnacle heist movies of all time.
Yes, and Val Kilmer with that gun, that reloading, just fuck, man.
So it's but why'd you pick The Ring?
So The Ring. So the original, I do love the original. I'm not trying to take away from the Japanese for making it, and it was good. This movie, for whatever reason, has a hold of me because I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, I want to get scared. What's a good horror movie? I wouldn't say The Ring is even the top 20 for ones to make me feel scared.
Mm-hmm.
But I will watch this movie at least once a week. Like, honestly, like either to fall asleep to it because it's a comfort movie, or I want to be interested in it and I watch it. I think
person, Paul.
I know. I think one of the big things for this movie is I always think of my friends because my friends knew I loved horror movies since early high school and freshman year. Parents go out of town for the weekend. They knew I was kind of obsessed with this movie then. So they decided to freak me out. So on VHS, they recorded off the DVD port just the part of The Ring. And so they knew I'd pass out about 3 a.m. from just passing out. So they put it on all the TVs in my house. Yeah. So they put it on all the TVs and then they cut off all the lights to the entire house and just hit play on all of them. So I wake up to every TV in our house just playing the Ring part of The Ring. And they got me good because, I was waking up not completely in the right state of mind and I was freaking out. I was running through that house. I was a mess. And it was worth it.
I'll tell you, that wouldn't happen. I'll fight her. I'm like, fine, let's do it. I can't run. So crawl your ass out. Move your happy ass over here with your tracking and all that weird stuff. And I'm going to knock you down. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to knock you down. No monsters getting me. So number 2. Number 2. Yeah, I knew you were going to hate mine, but It. I like It. It's a good choice. That was a good one. I like the first one more than the second one, but not bad altogether. Why is it your choice for number 2?
I love, if I had to pick apart this one and the, Tim Curry one, I just love visually how they did this one. They just made it darker, and it was nice that they were able to bring more blood and gush to it. The opening scene with Georgie and his arm getting ripped off. I didn't see that coming. So I was like, holy shit, this is what we're in for. I really love Skarsgård. I love his depiction of Pennywise, as opposed to Tim Curry's was more friendly, goofy, but still, a killer alien creature. I thought this is one that if I were to be scared of one, I'd be more scared of this than Tim Curry. I just wanted to chill with Tim Curry. Almost like the Devil's Rejects.
Are you looking forward to the show that they're going to do? The Derry?
If it's done correctly, yes. I feel like a lot of times with TV shows that are kind of straight horror, they drop the ball. Because what was it? I watched Nosferatu, and I tried a few other horror TV shows, and a lot of times they don't hold up. They would get you in the pilot like they're supposed to, and then second episode you're like, well, this just must be a fill-in. But then by 4 or 5, you're like, okay, they just didn't know how to hold it. Like, this is why horror almost is better as a movie than a show. And I think when American Horror Story first started, they did a good job with their first couple seasons. But even them, I'd say seasons 4 on, they've just consistently dropped the ball and just kind of made it to where I don't even give a shit. And I used to have a group of like 15 friends. We'd watch those episodes every night. And then now, I might watch it if I have nothing else. I'm like, oh, the new season just dropped. I guess I'll put it on. So
I don't know how I gave up after Hotel.
Okay.
Because even from, like, you're right, from 4 on, it was just terrible. And what bugged me the most was none of it was good all the way through.
No.
Even the first season, the second season, it's like I don't know what it is, but it's like he gets halfway through a season and drops the fucking ball.
Yeah.
It's like you're doing it beautifully, and then it's just like extend it 6 more episodes and fuck you guys. Like, I don't know, it's weird, and I don't like it. And like even the one with the clowns, which was later, where everybody's dressed like the clowns, and it was the suburban street and such. That kicked off like that was like, this is going to be one of the best seasons yet. And then it turned around, and I was just like, what happened? I was like, what happened here? Like, this is insanity. It's like you had like one of the best seasons yet, and you turned around and you like just took a steaming pile on it. It was crazy. But I definitely get with it, though.
They had the perfect setup too, because they're making it a political season at the height of our Trump and everything else going on. So it's like you had everyone's attention, because this is like half real, half fictional, and everybody, like, they could have made that. I mean, like that could have been a show everyone talks about for years to come.
Well, that was the thing. He did a good job. I'm sorry for anybody who's watching this as a clip, but you're getting our TED Talk on this. He did a good job, because like even setting up how he was able to take power in like a cultish way and build it up, and slowly but surely, and like how the rhetoric became and all this falsehoods and such. I was like, you should have just done a show like that and lead him to becoming president.
Right.
Or something like that. Not have a really cool story that turns super political all of a sudden. I'm like, man, you took me down a journey and then you screwed me, man. I was not happy about that. But anyway, whatever. I was tired of it. Anyway, I chose Roadhouse. I think this Roadhouse, I love the original Roadhouse, but I love the original Roadhouse for all the reasons that this movie improved upon it. It's so campy and cheesy and crazy. This movie has some camp to it, but it is taken seriously. It handles mental health seriously. The fighting is done seriously. The story's not bad. I mean, I don't understand how people get shitty about the story and then love the original. It's like same shit, but but with a better ending, in my opinion, with a better ending and a better message in it. Like, whereas the original, this movie is like, in terms of parallels, is like Unforgiven.
Okay.
For good reason. It's just, so if anybody who hasn't watched Unforgiven, the Clint Eastwood movie, it's a great, great, great Western that the entire movie for 2 hours tells you that superhero cowboys that we see in movies do not exist. They don't exist, and they keep demolishing all the big wigs back in the day throughout that entire movie until Clint Eastwood's character, William Money, shows them that he was a superhero cowboy. He was one of those ones we saw, and he takes them all out, and it's done really well. And I know I'm not doing it justice. You should go check it out. But that's what this reminds me of, was the fact that heroes don't, and especially in today's world, that was a society of people who were like, everyone who was involved got their comeuppance. All the bad people died, but the one who was just as bad as they were, but he was fighting on the side of good, wasn't allowed to stay. We cannot tolerate your hero here, your type of hero here. It just doesn't work anymore. So that was the message. I love that aspect of it. So it improved upon the original, which was all those cowboys are superheroes.
Right.
So it is. And now they improved upon it and said, like an actually worthwhile message, in my opinion. So that's why it's my number 2. Now, number 1. Great choice, by the way. I cannot go with just one of these. Because
that's fair. Hey, I understand.
Both of them are the movie from David Lynch's movie.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, are far superior versions of the movie.
Like, not even the same galaxy, man. Like,
yeah. Oh,
that's why I forgot it was a remake. When you said Dune, I was like, I completely forgot about Lynch's. Like, this is Dune. When I think of Dune, anyway, I'll let you talk about Dune first.
It's the one you think about. You're right, because it is the superior one. And here's the thing, everybody gets all mad and uppity about it, and like, and especially I know people are going to be like, oh, David Lynch, he's retired now with everything going on. How could you say this? I fucking love David Lynch. David Lynch in his interviews and everything else as a person, I have learned a lot from his movies and his composition of shots and just his writing. So don't talk to me. I've studied David Lynch. I have a high respect for David Lynch. I've watched all of his weird ass movies that make no goddamn sense, but are still enjoyable for some reason. I don't understand it, but I do. But the one I do not like is the same one he can't stand. And I hate when fans get all shitty with me about it. And it's just like, it's Dune. He didn't even like Dune.
Right.
So yeah, this is a far superior version to that. I can credit a lot of things that he did on that movie, Dune, that I appreciated, but this was a phenomenal remake. And it's the pinnacle of sci-fi. I think this is the number 1 sci-fi movie ever. These two movies together as one. Now, I'm so glad you picked number 1 as a sci-fi movie, which is my favorite horror movie of all time, but didn't go on my list because I don't feel it far surpasses the original. But sir, I think it far surpasses the original by writing, visual effects, all that stuff. But I'm saying, in terms of story, I don't think it dominates. I think the original story is just fun. No. So that's more in terms of what I mean. Like, I like movies that remake old ones that were just not that good. But The Thing, tell me about it. I know it's your favorite. Talk about it.
God bless it, man. John Carpenter. I mean, everything about this movie is amazing to me. I love the visuals. I love how, if we actually knew what Norwegian, we could have known he was yelling about the dog at the very beginning. Things, we didn't even know. Like, I didn't know until I became a bigger fan, looked into it. Then I was like, that's crazy that the answer was there at the beginning. And, he doesn't get credit as much as I think he should for this one out of all his films. And he's had great films. Cast is perfect. I couldn't imagine this being any other cast. Everything about this movie is terrifying. I mean, you start with the isolation. That's a terrifying situation by itself. You're snowed in, you're with the same people. I get people are like, oh, it can't be that bad. Like, I don't know. Have you ever been stuck with your family just at the fucking airport for 10 hours? Oh, it sucked and you got annoyed. Imagine being somewhere where it's just y'all. Right. Like, fuck, man. I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't fathom that, just like with The Shining. And this movie is great. The practical effects are just so beautifully done. You could tell he cared. The whole cast cared. Everyone, top to bottom, you could tell gave a shit and gave their all. The audio is great. The visuals are good. The editing was great. The score. I mean, if it was louder on my phone, that would be my ringtone for the rest of my life. The doom doom. But it's too quiet, so I can't hear it half the time. But yeah,
did I ever tell you those stories? What we would do back in the day when we worked at the video store? So we always volunteer because Lenny, one of my best friends, Lenny, he lived like a couple of blocks away from, what do you call it? The place we worked, Hollywood Video. Sorry, it's like, why can't I think of the name of it? Yeah, so he worked only a few blocks away. So when there was a snowstorm coming, I'd crash at his house. That was like high school. I'd crash at his house, and so like we would hang out in the store, close up while it started snowing, and then walk home. And let me tell you, we would get the road flares out from the trunk, and then it was doom doom. And then like we're just walking through the blizzardy snowstorm with our road flares. Oh man, it was so much fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Every time there's a snowstorm, we would pull him out and just walk around. He's gone, McCready. He's gone. Dead. I told you earlier. If you're watching the podcast or listening, dork. That's what it was. But thank you for sharing your list, man. That was a fun list. So that was our top 5 movie remakes. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Share with us what you think in the comments. I want to hear what you guys say for remakes. That'd be great. So before we get started, though, I do want to say thank you to our sponsor of this episode, StubHub. We truly appreciate you. I just went to an AJR concert, got my tickets on StubHub. Never had a problem with them. Do enjoy everything I go to. So if you want to get up off your butts this summer, go out and enjoy some fun venues, maybe a comedy show, maybe a concert, maybe a play. I don't know. Go out and check it out. Get your tickets on StubHub. They are awesome. Link down below. We appreciate you. All right, guys. So we're going to get started. We have 3 reviews for you tonight.
Whew.
You're getting in. If you're watching this as a clip, go back to the channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and then go watch the other reviews. But tonight is Cuckoo, and then we'll do the Instigators, and we'll do Borderlands. Let's start with Cuckoo. Let's do that. Let's get there. Okay. You and I differ on this.
Oh.
That's why it's going to be an interesting conversation. Is it the greatest movie I've ever seen? No. Is it better than Longlegs? Yes. Better story. More interesting. There's double meaning and hidden subtext behind Cuckoo, which worked. I didn't mind not knowing, even compare it to another movie that came out was disappointing. Watchers.
Yes.
The Watchers was disappointing, and the atmosphere was cool. Everything was built up. A lot of really good looking horror movies coming out by young filmmakers now, and I love them. And I want them to keep going. I even said, I didn't like Longlegs, but I want Oz Perkins to keep going. I want to see more. I love his atmosphere. But I just keep working on your story. This one just didn't hit for me. I'm sorry, but yeah, I still want to see more from him. So going into Cuckoo, I didn't know what to expect. I did really want to see this. It always looked interesting to me, but there was always this hidden, they didn't talk about it. I told when you just gave me your rating so I could throw it on the graphics, I was like, wow. I was like, I think I know how he feels about this movie, and I don't feel the same way. By the time I get to the end of it, I was like, I enjoy this. This is interesting. Okay. Now listen, there are things about it that need work. Don't get me wrong. I will say this: we need to start putting some goddamn respect on Dan Stevens' name as a horror figure. That man is kicking ass in the horror. He was creepy as hell in this movie. I have said enough. I want to hear it. Oh, actually, people should probably want to know what it's about. So it's about a family. It's a couple, and the father has a daughter who's 17, and then the couple has a daughter who is I think she's about 8 years old. They're moving to Germany. Reluctantly, the 17-year-old is going with them. But her mother passed away, and she's sort of stuck in this situation until she turns 18. They get out there. He's helping them build a new resort, so they're staying out at this resort to learn more about it and stuff like that. And weird things happen. I don't want to give too much away because it's not that this is a big twist movie. It's not that this is a big surprise movie. But I thought it was an interesting movie with a lot of interesting elements, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody. So that's why I'm kind of where I'm at. But I mean, if you want to hint at some stuff and talk about that, but I don't want to ruin anything for anybody right now. But tell me, what was your feelings on this?
So no spoilers. It had my attention.
Mild. I'll say mild. Mild.
I won't give anything away. It's all good. I can do that. Just the trailer, because I love John Malkovich. So I was excited that Malkovich was going to be in horror with Neon.
Was he in this?
Mm-hmm.
Who did he play?
Oh, what's his name? You're gonna make me.
John Malkovich was in Cuckoo. What did I miss? John Malkovich. Did we watch the same movie?
Yeah.
Who the hell was he?
I can't remember. I'll let you look it up. Oh, anyway. So when I heard he was in it, I was excited. I was excited to see Hunter Schafer as well, because I did like her in Euphoria. I think she's a great actress. So I did have kind of higher expectations for this. I definitely went in with lower expectations, even with kind of being excited about the cast, because Neon.
He's not in this movie.
He's listed.
He's not
I
in
swear I saw him in
It's okay.
Anyway.
Oh, did you think
but-
he was the detective?
Yes.
Silly man. That wasn't John Malkovich. It looked like him. He got that bone structure.
That's
No,
right.
that wasn't him. He's a Swedish actor. Either Swedish. I don't know. I might get that wrong. Swedes are going to get mad at me. Oh, then we're going to have a thing situation again. Uh-oh.
But yeah, this movie really didn't do it for me. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on anything you said. I thought Dan Stevens it seemed cheesy, like a Bond villain to me, like at the get-go. He was just a little too much. It was just too much in your face that he was obviously, the villain of the story. I was kind of.
They're in Germany. That's what I feel like every rich person in Germany is a Bond villain.
Yeah. Which is fair. That's fair.
If we had shown up and Dan Stevens is acting in this movie exactly as he's acting, and they're like, "Hey, we're in Spain," I'd be like, "There's something going on here. This is stupid. He shouldn't be acting this way. It's too weird. It's too creepy. He's too on the nose about a lot of things." But it's Germany, so I was like, "This dude looks like he's about to go to war with everyone again." like he just seemed like a problem from the jump. I have to politely push on that a little bit. And it's not that I have any hatred towards the Germans or anything like that. It's not that at all. I think I've never been to your lovely country, and I would love to check it out at Oktoberfest. but and because every other country talks about America and how they come off, Germany kind of comes off exactly as Dan Stevens acts in this movie.
It's fair.
You don't have to agree, but I'm just like, that's where I stand on it.
The only cringy scene, without giving anything away, is the bandage you see on her head in that picture right there is when she needs to put that bandage on. That's the only scene out of the whole movie where I was like, oh, okay, that was a little cringe. But past that, I mean, it just didn't seem scary to me. It wasn't that. I understood some of the subtext with them talking about the years and the parents, saying, "Oh, we had our first anniversary here, this and that." I understood what they were getting at. I don't know. To me, like I said, I feel like if that's the movie you're trying to make, that's more thought-provoked. That's how you should market it, not make it a horror. Because when it's horror, I kind of want to face value with a horror. Like what kind of creature, supernatural, this or that, a killer, yada yada. And essentially almost that be it, unless you're going to conquer it. Great. With all that being said, though, I will say Hunter Schafer was amazing. And I will say, I've never directed a movie. I've never written a movie. He's a young director. He's, he doesn't quite have his stick yet. So I hope that he continues to grow and it gets better, because I'm not going to shit talk the director or the writers for this, because I've never done it, and I know he is new, and I think this is better than some of his other films. So hopefully it continues to get better. I hope Neon picks up more, because I feel like Blumhouse is a lot better right now, which is funny because I saw when this movie got released that Blumhouse quickly kind of crapped on the movie via tweets and then announced they were coming out with like a couple of new movies because he was scared of this one. And I was like, let's not be a competition, you guys. We're in the same race. Let's just all make good movies.
Make good movies. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, yeah, I would put Blumhouse a little bit over Neon, but only because it has hits.
Yes.
And generally, that's the ones they try to stuff on Amazon Prime. And I'm talking about the horror element of it. And like Blumhouse is horror, so you guys know that. But I liked Cuckoo. I'm not normally a Neon fan. That honestly, they mostly all come off kind of like Long Legs did. To that effect. But this was one that I thought Hunter Schafer did a great job. She led this movie perfectly. I liked the creepy aspect of it. I do agree with you. The plot is thin, especially in terms of the creatures that we're talking about in this. There's also a lot of elements to this that just missed their mark. But her piece through all of this, held it together, I think, really well. And that's why, for me, I gave it a 3.
Okay.
3 out of 5. But you gave it a 2 out of 5. I might watch this again. I feel like there might be layers to it.
Yeah.
And that's a good sign, in my opinion. So,
okay. Right.
Definitely better than most of the horror I've seen recently. All right. Well, that was our review of Cuckoo. Thank you very much. Go join our Patreon. All right. Let's that's throwing a clip later. let's review. Do you want to do this or Borderlands next?
Instigators fine.
All right, let's do the Instigators. Kick it off, everybody. All right. Join our Patreon. So The Instigators, written by Casey Affleck. It stars Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. They are 2 criminals. Well, one is a dad just trying to get some money to help his son. It's almost like a payback situation. Like, I want this amount of money and that's it. That's all I need.
$32,840.
There you go. You see, and Casey Affleck is like a career criminal, has been in prison, and like he doesn't want to go back. He's not a violent criminal. He's just a guy who does jobs. Like, he breaks in and does stuff like that. So, and Matt Damon was a Marine, who's down on his luck and owes a lot of money to child support and stuff like that. So, like, he's down on his luck. So, definitely what some would refer to as like maybe deadbeat types. But they definitely in this movie prove why they're not.
Right.
This was directed by Doug Liman. I thought it was really well done. It was good comedy to it. The guys played well off of each other. But the thing I liked about it is it's not goofy comedy. Like, I love the Bad Boys movies. They are really intense. That'd be a good mashup. But with like John Wick or something.
Look at that. Yeah.
But like the Bad Boys movies, you have to watch or listen to the podcast for all of that. But the Bad Boys movies are wonderful, but they're very funny. They're very silly. I thought this was really good buddy film. Not super funny, but it worked. What do you think of this movie?
I enjoyed it. I thought, my rating will reflect, what I'm saying. I thought it was kind of a run of the mill. It's kind of what I expect from an Apple original film.
I'll throw the hands.
There you go. So I did enjoy it. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. I can see why they went straight to stream. I don't think it would have done well in theater at all. But I thought it was good. Casey Affleck's character was a lot of fun. I love that you can tell, like, it's got to be written in his agreement somewhere that he always gets to wear a green fucking hoodie in all these lower films, because he always iconically is wearing a green fucking hoodie. Therapist, really? Yeah, because he had like
Hung Kao was great in this.
She was hilarious, like so serious and stuff, and her and Casey Affleck going back and forth. I was about peeing. Their commentary.
Oh my god, yeah. There's so much fun. Like, it was a really fun, wild ride, and I was like, that's something I like. This is another one of those fun movies that we've been getting lately. Again, it's not overly comedic, but it's actiony fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. I never felt like they were in so much danger they'd never get out.
Right.
I like that the villains in the story, and there's a bunch coming from everywhere, like, are a little more exaggerated, so it lets you add to it some more. I love this movie. And this is going to be a go-to. I'm going to watch this again, probably multiple times. So you
don't smell that? Fucking A, bro.
What?
Oh,
what did you do?
No, you don't. From the movie, you don't remember him saying that?
Oh my god, no! You can't pull that on a podcast. I don't know.
We're talking about the.
Well, that's our rating of our review and rating of The Instigators. Go check out our Patreon for more.
Yep.
That's right. Now let's get to our final review of the night. Ugh. Borderlands. I think we all know where I'm going with this. So is Paul. All right, I'm gonna put this out there. I've never played the games, other than having seen commercials and some pictures and stuff like that. I don't know the name of any characters. I don't know what it's about. I'm not besmirching the games in any way, shape, or form. I do realize that video games have a wonderful, rich backstory history and is really taken care of, and people love it. I got nothing to say about the video games. Saying that off the bat. If you love it, good on you. Maybe I'll try it one day. But this movie didn't help me want to. Do you play the game?
I have. Yeah.
This was Eli Roth proving yet again that he's not great with IPs outside of Dawn of the Dead. Other people's IPs. Even his movies are a little bonkers. I don't mind them, though.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of Dawn of the Dead, which I still think has problems compared to the original. But I respect it, and I think it's a well-done movie. And as much as Eli Roth has gone on in his career, it's becoming more of a character of itself. And honestly, it feels like a lot of these directors that have been known for a long time are chasing franchises in some way. Man, this is not the way to do it. Dude, he watched Guardians of the Galaxy 1 about 45 minutes of the way through and was like, I got this. I know what I'm going to do. Like, that's how I felt this movie came about. It was boring. I didn't care about any of the characters because they didn't let me care about any of the characters. See, that wonderful, beautiful thing they did in Guardians of the Galaxy that James Gunn did when he took time to articulate and write it, not just throw a bunch of characters together. And you literally, in all of these characters, have exactly Kate Blanchett is Star-Lord. The dude in the mask is Groot. She's wearing bunny ears. They called Rocket Rabbit. Do you not see Drax up there with the big old gun? Huh? Do you not see the quirky scientist lady? Or like the psychic like chick? Come on. It's Guardians of the Galaxy Eli Roth version. And here's the thing, like, I like Eli Roth. I want to talk to him. There are directors, like, he knows so much about movies. I would love to just have a conversation with him. This is at least better and more entertaining than Rebel Moon, which was just abysmal. But not by much. This is not the worst movie of the year, in my opinion. That will always remain the Atlas. That is the first and only, well, that's the first of, I hope, only a 0-star review. Atlas got 0 stars for me. This did not get 0 stars. Didn't deserve 0 stars. There are still some things about it that made me chuckle. But man, did they not do this justice. And I don't even know anything goddamn about it. So I am going to shut up now. Paul, what did you think about it?
So I did go in there with kind of higher expectations because I've been listening to a podcast called Bad Friends with Bobby Lee, being one of the characters, and he was talking about how he's doing some of the voices in the movie. So how he made it sound, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. Like it looked like a ripoff of Guardians of the Galaxy in the trailer, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the jokes will hit. It'll be a good movie. And from just a technical standpoint, and I'm not sitting here saying I know everything, the editing was ridiculous. It didn't seem like anything really went together. Like it was just choppy. I was like, what is it? This almost looks like a fan-made movie of Guardians of the Galaxy, but they couldn't use those names, so they just made their own. The jokes, because I was in the theater with a decent crowd. Like, even the kids aren't laughing because these jokes are so juvenile and not even like funny. Like that, like maybe something a 4-year-old might joke about saying the word pee or something. Anyway, this movie was bad. I would say watch at your own risk at home, but I would not spend a penny on it. I would wait for it to go to stream on Netflix or whoever picks this up. And it sucks because they did have a pretty solid cast. good actors and actresses that I know can do a great job. And I'm not saying that they ruined the movie. They just didn't have anything to work with. And this was 2024's version of the Peter Pan movie that was absolute garbage with Hugh Jackman.
That's pretty bad. This was terrible. Here's the thing, though. It could have been. Now, again, not comparing it to the video games because I don't watch or listen. I haven't watched or played the video games, but it could have been interesting for someone like me who doesn't know that if you had given times and actually fleshed out your characters. You fleshed out none of your characters, and by the time I start caring about one, you are already on to the next one doing something completely different. It moves too fast at times. Like there were times, at least in Guardians of the Galaxy, this is a blatant ripoff, so I'm just going to use that as the example. There are times in Guardians of the Galaxy where we got to see him bond real quick, like those little moments that are just really well done. That type of writing, when you watch a movie like this and you watch a movie like Guardians of the Galaxy, it gives me faith in what's going to happen with DC going forward. Because I know James Gunn thinks about those little things. He's trying to connect everything. He's trying to make sure there's humanity in certain roles, stuff like that. God damn it. He made more humanity out of a tree and a raccoon than anything else in the MCU. Like Jesus. So you see those things, like that's really well done and taken care of. This didn't seem like the characters are really cared about. It was thrown together, and this was one that was made that was almost like the audience is stupid. They're not going to understand like why it's bad. They're just going to look at the pretty lights and go for it. And it's like, nah, nobody's like that anymore. Like we got a lot of good now. And like any filmmaker who ever would say that, I'm not saying they would, any filmmaker that would ever broach that sort of thinking, knowing how TV is today and how amazing you can do on television is kidding themselves way too much. But let's give our ratings for this one. Both half point, half star, half mic on it. Out of 5. Yeah, both. Like it just was terrible. I'm with Paul. I did not give it a 0 because I did not want to give another 0. That's all. That's where we're at with it. Like, did not care about any of it, even the glowy wings. So.
But they got a half star for me just because of behind the scenes guys. You know what I mean? I get there were operators involved. There were people holding boom, special effects guys, all that. So I'll always give at least half a point because they deserve their credit. I'm not saying they didn't technically do their jobs. And
they did. No, they did. Hey, they did their jobs. I agree with you 100%. And I'm not trying to be callous, but that's why I bought the ticket.
Right. That's it.
That's
the only reason why.
So they were not Eli Roth, not the so like they were, because they'll get more jobs. They'll do, but I agree with you. Like, and they put the work in and stuff like that. But this was a failure of execution on higher up level, not the people working on it. So, all right, let's get to mixed movie pick, and then we're getting out of here. Of course, it's from 1979. Mixed movie pick this year. Because I was just watching it. Kramer versus Kramer. Go check it out. I made a classic film review. It's going to be up probably tomorrow. And then either tomorrow or Thursday, so you can check it up on the channel. We got lots of fun stuff going on. So, guys, make sure you're checking it out. Make sure you are a member of... Kramer. Just let me give a quick rundown if you haven't seen it. It is a very dramatic movie. It's about a family, a mother, father, and a son, and the mother decides to leave the family, leaving the father in like a frenzy. He was a workaholic. He was really a dad, outside of like, hey son, good night son, sort of thing. And now he's thrust into the main parent role. And you see over the course of that, him adopt that and take it and go from completely stressed out about it to making it work for him, making life work for him. He's really enjoying it, being a divorced man, having his son. And then she comes back into the picture and it becomes a courtroom drama. And it can be a gut-wrenching one sometimes. So there's trigger warning. But but it's a wonderful story. Amazingly acted. It got so many awards, but I'm going to let you watch the classic film review. We talk about all that stuff and more about it. So you go check that out on the channel. But guys, if you want to stay in the know, the only way to stay in the know is join Patreon. So we got to do it. So hopefully you guys will be a part of it and join up. You can join the free tier or you can join a paid tier. Either way, all will get you into the Discord. Just once you join up, message us and we'll send you the link to the Discord so you can join in. And we have our newsletter for the free tier. We share our links on there, share other movie reviews, written movie reviews, and so much more. We also offer discounts, and we're doing a giveaway right now. Actually, I can talk about. We are currently doing a giveaway. Free or paid tiers are entered once you join in, and one lucky patron winner will win the Deadpool popcorn bucket, and another will win the Wolverine cup. Both very cool stuff, and I can't wait for you guys to see them and check them out. But all you have to do is join up on the Patreon. You're automatically entered. We'll put you on the wheel, and we're going to spin it. If we get to 100 followers before August 20th, we're going to spin the wheel, and 2 lucky winners will take those home. We'll each take each of them home. We got to do it right. Got to say it properly. One winner will take one thing home. One winner will take the other one home, and it'll all be fun, and you'll love it. So, and then you guys stay by because we're probably going to be doing some more of these very soon. I got my eyes on a couple of movies coming up soon. And they have some cool popcorn buckets, so hopefully we can do it. And we're going to be doing other giveaways, merch stuff, and things like that. So join up on the Patreon. We truly appreciate you. Again, thank you to our sponsor of tonight's show, StubHub. We love you. Go get your tickets now down on the link below. All right, guys. Before we go, Paul, what you got for me, man? What's up, buddy?
I guess just keep watching, keep listening, keep loving the magic movies, even though it's been kind of a tough couple weeks. Hang in there, you guys. School's starting back, so what I like to do is a lot of times any of my teacher friends, I'll try to ask 1 or 2 of them to make an Amazon list for supplies for their kids. Since a lot of them do that, I'm not sitting here like I'm sitting on top of a lot of money, but hey, you guys, if you can spend $10 to help a teacher get pencils or even $5 just for erasers, it goes a long way. So I test y'all to branch out there and just try to help these teachers out because a lot of them do care. And I know a lot of times we only see the bad teachers and things like that, but a lot of them really care and care about the students, and money's tough all around. So if you got a couple bucks you can spare, try to find a way to help.
Very hard to argue with that. It's a wonderful thing to do. And another thing that the teachers really do love too are wipes, tissues, things of that nature, especially in the younger years for sure. It helps clean up with a lot of illnesses and stuff. These teachers do have to work with sometimes up to 30 kids in a classroom. And during those winter months, it gets really sick and it can be really tough. So I agree with you, Paul. If you guys can help out and doing any of that stuff, help teachers, supplies, whatever they need, go to your local schools. On their website, sometimes they have the information up there. You can call them and just say, hey, do you guys need anything? Can I donate anything? It goes a long way. There's lots of stuff coming on sale soon. So, yeah, Paul, that's a great message. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for doing the show tonight. Guys, next week will not be live because I'll be at Podcast Movement DC 2024. I'm very excited about it. For the 4 days, I'm going to be down in DC, up in DC, I should say, or over. It's actually that way. So we're going to be over in DC, and I'm going to be networking with a lot of podcast industry heads, sponsors, things like that. So I'm super excited. So they get to know who the Scene Snobs is. I'll be representing us hardcore, the Snob Nation. But I will also be filming, putting it up on social media, stuff like that. So go check it out. You can follow TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that. No more Facebook. Done with Facebook. So no, but yeah, it's so yeah, please. So next week we are going to have a recorded episode. It will be out next Tuesday. You can check it out. You'll be able to watch it. You'll be able to listen to it. And then the week after that, we are moving for a little while, just for a few months. We're moving to 8 o'clock at night. Now, the reason being is because I know somebody who has one game on 8 o'clock at night, and I know somebody who has another practice at not 8 o'clock at night, on Tuesdays now. They both are going to be doing stuff on Tuesdays, so I have to be out until about 8 o'clock, and we'll do the shows then. So from now on, well, not from now on, for the next few months, getting through Snobtober, we're going to be at the 8 o'clock hour. So thank you guys. Make sure you're checking out for that. Until next time, I'm Mick Manhattan. Remember to like, subscribe, hit that bell. This is the Scene Snobs channel. We appreciate you joining in. We'd love for you to be a part of the Snob Nation, like we said. And until then, remember to be kind, stay classy, and take care of yourselves. That's important.